how did the Prophet ﷺ deal with these leaders? Knowledgeable person of his people, a rabbi, a leader, he would honor them just as his people honored them. One day the Prophet ﷺ, in Sunan Abi Dawood, he comes to the house of Sa'd ibn Ubadah. This is the man who was the leader of the second biggest tribe in Medina. He comes to his house and he knocks the door. Assalamu alaikum. Sa'd ibn Ubadah gives a wa alaikum assalam. Gives us a quiet wa alaikum assalam. His son Qais is looking at his father thinking, what is he doing? The Prophet ﷺ again, Salamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. His son Qais is looking at his dad, what's wrong with my father? This is the leader of Khazraj. He can't even, third time, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. The Prophet ﷺ can't hear the return. He assumes he can't enter, so he walks away. A very important point. The Prophet ﷺ would only ever knock on the door 3 times or say salam 3 times. If you went home, he would leave. So the Prophet ﷺ walks away from the house. Sa'd ibn Ubadah comes running. Ya Rasulullah, I'm here. I did give you wa alaikum salam, but I said it quietly. Why did you say it quietly? He said, because I wanted you to say Salamu alaikum more and more. Because it's a dua from the Prophet ﷺ. I wanted to make more dua for me. Genius, mashallah. The Prophet ﷺ walks to his house. He sits with Sa'd. Now you know when someone extremely important visits your house, not in a big gathering, just one-to-one, it's a big honor. He would honor the leaders of Medina, the leaders of Mecca, the leaders of the people from Ethiopia, the Christians who'd come from Yemen. He would honor the leader. He visits him in his house. And the first thing he makes a dua. He says, Allahumma ja'al salawatika wa rahamatika ala ali Sa'd ibn Ubadah. Oh Allah, shower your mercy and your blessings on the family of Sa'd ibn Ubadah. And they serve him food and he eats from the food. And just as he's about to leave, Sa'd ibn Ubadah says, I have this donkey, I've put a cushion on it, this donkey is going to take you home. Don't walk home, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ looks at his son Qais, little boy. He says, Qais, come on the donkey with me. Come sit in front of me. He's honoring the son of the leader as well. So Qais says, no, I can't sit on the same animal as the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet says, look, either you sit or you leave, but you're not going to walk next to me. I don't accept for someone to walk and hold my beast. If someone is with me, they are my equal. And if you are not with me, stay at home. So Qais says, no, I'll stay at home. He doesn't come along. And the Prophet ﷺ gallops away from the house of Sa'd ibn Ubadah. A Bedouin comes and he urinates, akramakumullah, in the corner of the masjid. And to urinate, what does he have to do first? He has to expose his awrah. He has to expose his nakedness. And he just starts doing his business in the middle of the masjid. The Prophet ﷺ, how to deal with him? With mercy, with gentleness. It's okay. Let me explain to you. Look, this is not a place where you do these kind of things. This is a place of worship of Allah. Because the Bedouins are simple people. They're either with you or they're against you. So if you break the heart of this Bedouin, he's never coming back to Islam and he's going to disown you and tell his tribe and everybody he meets that Muhammad ﷺ is a horrible man. This is the nature. So he has to deal with them gently. Deal with them like he deals with a child. Anybody know any other incidents where the Bedouin came to the Prophet ﷺ? A Bedouin comes and he grabs the Prophet ﷺ. Give me from what Allah has given you. The Sahaba are ready to kill this guy. They're ready to give him a KO, knockout. The Prophet ﷺ says, relax. He takes the shawl off and he gives it. Because he knows this person is not deliberate. He's not doing it on purpose. This is just his nature, his culture, where he comes from. This is how they are. So why should he be harsh to this person? One Bedouin comes to the Prophet ﷺ. He says, give me something from what Allah gave you. The Prophet gives him. The Prophet says, is that enough? Hal ahsant? Did I do well? He says, no, you didn't. Sahaba are ready to kill this man. Prophet ﷺ says, relax. He goes, he gives him something more. Now are you satisfied? He says, now I am satisfied. And may Allah reward you and your family with goodness. The Prophet ﷺ says, you know those guys outside, the ones who are ready to kill you? Go outside and say to them, may Allah reward you, Muhammad, with happiness, so that they calm down. So he goes outside. He says, Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may Allah reward you and your family with happiness. I'm very satisfied. And the companions all calm down. They go away. See, he's watching. The companions are there, the Bedouins there. The Bedouins happy, but he has to make the companions happy as well. Everybody's in his mind. Everybody needs to be looked after. Nobody is absent from his mind even for a minute, for a second. How did the Prophet ﷺ deal with children? One of the people who was employed by the Prophet in his house was a little child, 6-year-old boy by the name of Anas ibn Malik. You tell a 6-year-old, go and get me the paper from that man. 6-year-old goes there. Halfway on the way, he sees a stone and he sees a rabbit, gets distracted, follows the rabbit, finds himself in a cave. The next day he comes back. Where's the paper? Oh, sorry. I got distracted by the rainbow. You can't hold a child to account. So Anas ibn Malik, his mom came and said, Ya Rasulullah, this boy Anas, he's at your service. Now the Prophet ﷺ knows the little boy, he's not going to be the most effective employee. So he has to treat him with just love and gentleness. So Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu says, I served the Prophet ﷺ for 10 years. Not once did he say to me, why didn't you do the thing I told you to do? Where did you go when I told you to go and do this? Not once did he say oof to me out of annoyance. Because he's a child. He dealt with him with mercy. On the flip side, the Prophet ﷺ, when there was responsibility or harm or benefit associated with something, he would never praise somebody for no reason or exaggerate to them. He would tell them honestly, look, you're not good enough for this.